Portrait of Marilyn Monroe taken by Richard Avedon, considered by some to be the most honest picture of her ever taken. Baseball great Lou Gehrig, after finishing his "The Luckiest Man on the Face of the Earth" speech at Yankee Stadium on July 4th, 1939. Kids playing in the street joined hands in West Harlem, 1946. Mugshot of Pablo Escobar, the infamous drug lord of the 1970s and 1980s. Medellin, Colombia, 1977. Aviation pioneer Wilbur Wright gliding in 1902, using a flying machine that predated the one used to complete the historic first-ever control of a heavier-than-air craft in North Carolina in 1903. Children in line for an Easter Sunday mass, Chicago, April 1940. A Nihang bodyguard serving in the ruler of Hyderabad's army in present-day India, circa 1865. Soldiers playing soccer in no man's land during the Christmas truce, a series of unofficial ceasefires along the Western Front of World War I around Christmas 1914. Albert Einstein in 1921. Two waiters served two steel workers lunch on a girder high above New York City. 1930. The men were building the famous Waldorf Astoria Hotel. Jackie Robinson, 1954. Malcolm X waiting for a press conference to begin on March 26, 1964. Children lick a massive block of ice in order to stay cool on a hot day. New York City, July 6, 1912. Mugshot of David Bowie after being arrested for marijuana possession, following a performance in Rochester, New York. A crowd salutes the camera, holding up their drinks at a newly opened bar just after the repeal of Prohibition. Location unspecified. 1933. After the Civil War, the American West was in large part settled by freed slaves who sought to both distance themselves from their past. Lewis Powell, 21, in a cell on board a U.S. Navy ship in Washington, D.C., after his arrest on April 17, 1865. Laborers take their lunch break on a steel beam atop the 70-story RCA building in Rockefeller Center. Siberian mystic Grigor Rasputin, who gained power in Russia before the 1917 revolution due to his association with the royal family. Circa 1910, a carnival barker tries to grab the attention of passersby at a fair in Klamath Falls, Oregon, in 1942. A window washer at work on the Empire State Building poses during a brief break from his duties. March 24, 1936. A young Wyatt Earp circa 1870, when he was just 21. Earp became famous as one of the toughest lawmen of the Wild West. Suspected John F. Kennedy assassin Lee Harvey Oswald, shortly before he was shot by Jack Ruby on November 24, 1963. President Abraham Lincoln stands on the battlefield at Antietam, Maryland, with General John A. McClernand on the and Alan Pinkerton, his Secret Service. October 3, 1862, an overhead photograph of World War II's D-Day landings in Normandy, France. 1944. A boy selling newspapers in London containing reports on the Titanic disaster. Martin Luther King Jr. giving his famous "I Have a Dream" speech in Washington, D.C., 1963. An unemployed man holds a sign voicing his frustrations during the Great Depression. Inside the Table Bluff Hotel and Saloon in Humboldt County, California, 1889. Men and women stand in an alley known as Bandit's Roost off Mulberry Street in Manhattan, circa 1887 to 1890. A family of migrant workers fleeing from the drought in Oklahoma camp by the roadside in Blythe, California, 1936. New York's Central Park, 1933. A pair of African-American troops posed by artillery during World War II, 1944. A pair of Civil War veterans exchanged stories during the 50th anniversary of the Battle of Gettysburg in 1913.